Can one experience change your life? We believe the unlimited potential of consciousness has been untaught and untapped. Together, we can change that. The LightNet community was born as a citizen science discovery lab. Can our collective curiosity help us see the world in a whole new light? Welcome Marilyn Gewacke, who is going to be channeling ZaZar tonight. And she's written books that have been winning awards. You can find her work at theshift.rocks, and you can find the books there and everything about her schedule as well. But why don't you welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how this all started, because I know that that's a very interesting. She's been doing this for 7 years. ZaZar is a 6-dimensional ET, so yeah.
So I, by living for all my life, was a clinical psychologist. I ran a research department, went around the country talking about trauma disorders, had a full-time private practice, was a TV media psychologist. I'm just saying that so you get the impression I've been in the mainstream all my life. 7 years ago when ZaZar came on board, I made quite a switch. And the switch was, took a little bit of bravery to quit my whole profession as a psychologist and become a channeler. I understood within 2 months of him coming out, this information was so important for the earth. There was nothing else for me to do. But let me tell you this, before that, I had a wake-up call, a literal call. I was reading Dr. Greer's book on making contact with consciousness with the extraterrestrials. I was in the dentist office, getting numbed, not realizing I was about to awaken, reading his book on the chapter on the protocol for making contact. All of a sudden, the music changed. Usually dentist music is not great, to this most beautiful space star music that I had ever heard. I turned to the tech and I said, "You guys rock, this music is beautiful." And she said, "That's not our music." And then the head dentist came running around the corner saying, "What is going on with the speakers and the music? It sounds like a spaceship landing right outside our door." For some reason, now this was in 2008. This was before we have the technology. We have cell phones. You can't send pictures or music back then. She goes, "I don't know why I'm saying this. Look at your cell phone." It was a flip. I got out of the chair, went to look. On my cell phone, the music is coming from my cell phone. It is being projected on the speakers to this day, and this was before Bluetooth. No one knows how this music could get on the speakers. There was a picture of a beautiful spacecraft with some kind of hieroglyphics language coming down the spaceship. I was like, okay, the tech was like, "Excuse me," and I never saw her again in the room because I think it freaked her out. I went home, I told Diane, "This happened on my phone. I'm not sure what it's about." So a few days later, we were having ice cream with Diane and her children, and the phone rings again in Friendly's, an ice cream place. The music comes on, the picture is the same, only this time alongside the picture was birth, and it was her birthday. So now I took it to Verizon. I said, "I have the date and time. Could you see if anything came in on my phone?" They said, they looked like I was nuts. They said, "Ma'am, nothing came on your phone. That's impossible." It happened 2 more times in our office. Diane and I rarely have the same breaks. We happened to be on break the same time, 2 more phone calls. That was it. I took it back. Same pictures, same incredible music. Did I think to tape it? No. So I went back to her Verizon, and they said, this guy was interested. He said, "This is interesting." He had the dates and times. He was gone 20 minutes. He says, "We have a way to look through all your data." He came back out like white. He said, "There is no evidence of anything coming in or going out." He says, "The only thing I'm going to tell you is what happened on this phone was not created by humans." So I looked at Diane and I said, I was reading Dr. Greer's book on protocols and making contact. I think we should go to an expedition. We went to 7, had a huge wake-up call to the truth about extraterrestrials and the beautiful Earth's cosmic home. And then we decided to come home, and we have a sanctuary for evolutionary vision, 50 acres of land on a stream where we do retreats with ZaZar now on consciousness and ascension and the 5th dimension, creating fifth dimensional communities right on the property. And we continue to do contact. We have ships coming over 500 feet up. It's quite an amazing place. So that was literally a wake-up call for me. 7 years ago, ZaZar comes. I knew, my first book, I knew I had downloads of tremendous amounts of information. It's called The Oneness of Being, Birthing the New Human. But 7 years ago, he actually came through me as a being, and my voice changed, my eyes were closed, and he just came in, and I knew that this was this being that had been with me for so long in my life. And I recognized him, and I proceeded to find out who he was, although I knew who he was. He's a six-dimensional ET being, Arcturian. He's Arcturian, Pleiadian, and Elfin extraterrestrials. Apparently, when you are certainly advanced enough to be in the sixth dimension, that you can choose your body that you want to be in, and this is the body he chose. He's a beautiful being. So he is here to help us realize who we are and to help us tap into those magical places that will bring ascension to Earth. And I have to tell you, since he's come out, I've had clear memories of being on a craft when I was a little girl, being on a craft, and in those memories, and they're as clear as day, I can remember what I wore and everything else. And on the crafts, it was many, many children on these crafts. They were teaching crafts about consciousness, and we would line up on monitors and get taught how to use our consciousness to make paintings and art and music, and they would show up on the monitor straight from our consciousness. Now I know. I also learned enough about consciousness that I could channel ZaZar. And that's what I'm here to do. And he's here to be the most amazing, compassionate, wise cosmic avatar to help the human race. And there are so many here like him. But I can testify that he changes people's lives. So he's ready to be here.
This is so amazing, you guys. And this is why we're doing LightNet, is because there's things that happen that can't be explained, and those aren't to be brushed under the rug or the bed going, oh, well, I don't know. It's to be talked about, it's to be looked about, it's to be studied. And one of the crazy things is that this happened to us in Contact 100. Altair, and I also love that you're taking people in your retreat on the 20th to make contact. Like, you're actually taking small groups, let's do this. And I encourage everyone listening today, practice it, do it. It's available to us all. They're waiting for that like telephone connection, right? And what happened with Altair was that he had, we were all requesting contact, 100 of us, and we did it over 2 weekends. We had all these really cool experiences. And after a week later, his wife was editing on the computer, and he and his daughter were out looking at ships, and they saw a ship, and they heard a sound that they couldn't explain. It was a huge like spaceship tone. And they go, that was really weird because I heard it, my kid heard it, my wife heard it. We were all like, wow. And then the next day, the wife she had been editing some video for school, and the tone was on that video. So there's a recording of it. So this is our handshake with the other dimensions, you guys. This is like they're saying, okay, yeah, how much more like proof do you need, right? This is happening, you guys, and it's like, and thank you for way showing, for holding that and saying, like, dedicating your life for the last 7 years to doing that. So let's go in the channel, and I want to thank ZaZar for what it took to establish this contact. Thank all the beings that are here right now through Lisa's music, and we'll try again at the end and see if this works. But but yeah, okay. So here we go. Exciting.
So when ZaZar comes through, my voice changes. Typically, my eyes are closed. Sometimes he opens them.
Okay.
So here we go. He is so ready to be here. He's so ready to be with you. So I'm going to be here right away. Because you know, Zenka, oh, we have been connecting so much since we decided to do this together. You are such a beautiful being. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I want to first talk about where the earth is at, because it is so marvelous. And you might look around and see all the chaos and go, oh my goodness, we are in such a bad place. You might say to yourself, and I say to you, I am here to tell you, oh, from a cosmic point of view, from cosmic technology, for you to understand more about what is happening to your earth and what is happening to you. The earth is in a perfect place in your galactic runway to the galactic sun. There is such diamond light coming in. The diamond light is all about ascension for a particular planet, for those beings on the planet. Earth is lined up, and you have had many on this planet who have laid siege. Your Christ one, your Buddha one, your ascended masters. You have fifth dimensional communities, a Shambhala, Telos. All of them have planted these seeds, but who is the one who have to water the seeds to sprout? It is the humans, because you cannot have ascension on a planet without the free will of those species who are going through the ascension. And so we are waiting, as Zenka so aptly said, waiting for you to wake up, to say, yes, all of this is true. Any kind of strange experiences you have, to pursue them, to know the magic is coming online now for Earth and all the humans. It's so exciting for us to see. But it takes the human. Now the human sometimes is not in such great shape. But you know, I am here also to say we can see the high consciousness of all so many humans who have the wish, who have the beautiful intention, who have the dream for this ascension into the fifth dimension to take place. Now, what is required for this wish to be true? For humans to begin to realize, I am just here to reflect the truth of your magnificence that has gotten snuffed out. I'll tell you why in a minute. But your magnificence, you have become distant from, and it is your magnificence that is so beautiful, so light-fed, that will be the breath that will blow out the candles on the birthday cake of what is going on in the debris, to blow out those candles, to make this wish come true. It is the breath of your beautiful magnificence. And I can see your magnificence, so you can't fool me to think, oh me, oh my, I'm all this debris. Yes, and you know why? Because eons ago, the human species became separate from the fact that Earth lives in a cosmic home, that Earth lives in this teeming, beautiful, diverse, with many, many beings universe. And human race in their consciousness have shields put over, and you began to feel separate, as if you were floating on a little planet in the middle of darkness. And that separation from your cosmic home caused you to be more separated from source, from your own soul light. And in those separation themes, you did all kinds of things with that. Things that would harm each other. You can harm Earth if you feel separate from her. You can kill the elephants if you feel separate from them. You can hurt each other if you are in separation. Why are you in separation? Because of the separation trauma. At the beginning, when you separated from your cosmic home, now the light is coming back on. But first, you know, the human race, Zenka, is so funny because they have such separation inside, not knowing if they are good enough, not knowing if they are loved enough, accepted enough. And so they become highly dependent on what? The outside world. And so they have addictions and attachments to all the outside world. But remember, the outside world has already been created, so it is already in the past. It is the human that will create the new future. And so, but first, before that can happen, each human has to realize that they are absolutely extraordinary light beings. They carry with them. So many of you are here on earth to be part of the light brigade because you carry these special gifts that you are doing classes in. You are carrying special gifts that will be actualized, so you can see into the invisible, so you can see all the different realities that we can see that exist right side by side with you. But you first have to go in and begin to breathe into the truth and get rid of all those debris programs that diminish who you are. that diminish your ability to truly connect. You can't have this connection with the outside world until you have the connection with your beauty within. And then when you do that, that beauty produces an alchemic response that opens all these receptor sites for you to connect not only and love each other. Loving yourself, letting that light direct that to love. Love your trees, your plants. Love the earth herself. And then as that begins to spread and you feel less separate from that which you live in, you can begin to look up to the skies and have the dawning recognition that you live in a teeming, beautiful, diverse universe. And there are so many of us extraterrestrials that are living in the light. Circle around your planet and celestial beings waiting for it to dawn on you that you are in the new dawn, new age, coming into the fifth dimension. So there you go. That is what the earth is in the midst of. It is so beautiful to us, but you know the chaos is just part of the changing of the guard. How you doing, Zinka?
Wow, that was so beautiful. I've never heard someone say that what you see in your physical world is inherently the past. And that we have to generate that like magnificence and that love and that like that okayness, like to be okay with yourself and those like from inside. That's so cool.
But you know, it's like this. This is what Ascension is like, Zinka. It's like you're in a room and you have a big bulletin board and you look at all the bulletins and they tell you who to be, how to be, what to be. But those bulletins are from the past by the nature you put them up there from some other time, some other place. And you are looking at that as your guide, but it's already done. What humans are coming to realize is they can begin to increase their light quotient so much they begin to levitate into the higher room above. And in that higher room, they look upon the wall and they see it is blank, and all of a sudden they get a rush and realize, oh, it is me who is going to create on this wall a new reality that is right now in this moment. It is me that will create the reality. This is what I call Zenko, when humans start becoming self-responders and start becoming soul creators. And that's when you create reality in the now, every second. It is always new, it is always fresh, it is the combination of all that was, all that will be in one moment. That is the fifth dimension. And this is where Earth is headed. And so you can look forward. But some of you, you know, you love to look at those bulletins in case there's a new one. In case there's a new one that's going to guide you and say, oh, I better pay attention to this. And I say to you, take all of those things off the board and begin to realize that it is you that has the creative powers. That has been taken away from you. You have been shrouded in your consciousness. But I am telling you, this beautiful diamond light, the seeds that have been set by all these ascended masters on your planet. And there's so many beautiful, you know, I got to tell you something. You want to know what magnificence is? You want to know what it looks like to see someone who has the soul light streaming out? Here it is with Zenka. She is someone who is so beautiful in her I see it streaming out. It's so bright, by the way, because I see the soul light coming out of her. I saw it the first time somebody said your name. But I'm telling you, this is someone who is so invested in the earth, making her ascension, so invested in humans discovering their new attributes and skills, their magic they brought to earth, what I call soul sensory modalities, the ability to bilocate, teleport, move objects, all of this. Zenka is doing this. She is doing this. She is making the new earth. So if you want to know what magnificence looks like, you look at Zenka, because she is magnificent. I am not just saying that. We can't say things that aren't absolutely with the highest integrity of intention and truth. And so here we are, sitting with Zenke in this beautiful place in Sedona that has so much beautiful vortexual energies, bringing in such a new age of the fifth dimension. Where can you imagine, Zenke, living in the fifth dimension where there is no separation, but everybody has sovereignty? It's so important to have sovereignty. That sovereignty of self-knowing, self-revelation, and then you, in that place of energetic being, begin to service the world with that sovereignty. Isn't that interesting that as a sovereign being, you begin to form a uni field, what I call the uni field. It can only be formed by sovereign individuals, because if you are not sovereign, what you are giving to the field is something you probably want or need, or something you think you should be doing. But this is each individual contributing their gifts, their magic. And in doing that, it creates so much more than just one person. That is why your whole idea of doing small groups that you told Marilyn about, I was listening. And so it's so beautiful, because when one person begins to ascend and turn the light on, by the way, one of you turning the light on about the truth of who you are is a tipping point for Earth. And 8 of you are 1,000 more times a tipping point. And those 8 begin to change the morphogenic consciousness field that circles Earth. There are so many realities going on Earth right now. You have to choose the one you want to be in. You have to choose the timeline you want to be in. Let it be that timeline of light and love. It is a lot harder to choose that timeline. Some people think, oh, light and love, yeah, that's easy. No, it's not easy. It is easier to go back to the comforts of the old. But I am telling you, one person is a tipping point, 8 or 1,000 tipping points, and it is happening on Earth. And now you have communities gathering, and that's going to tip what? The whole human race. And when the whole human race tips, it tips the whole galactic living quarters. And when that tips, it tips the whole universe into more source light, where the beings made by source become the co-creators of expansion. So you see, one person begins to tip, and that is what's happening. The momentum on this planet, Zenke, is so fast now, and it is happening. So I say to you, join this beautiful, momentous thing that is happening on the planet. Begin to understand how you can increase your own light quotient so that you can jump timelines. Can I keep going, or would you like to say something?
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask you about timelines, so it's interesting, but I want to just pinpoint something, you guys, that has been a turning point in my life that really grabbed me from what ZaZar was saying. Anybody who's been to my house knows that I have a baby Lego steering wheel, in front of my desk every day that I look at every day. And when ZaZar was calling ourselves forward, this is up to you to do that shift, to make it happen for yourself, right? To be in your in your suspended state, in that suspension of belief and curiosity, really, and care, because that's what causes the tipping point, you guys, is when we take it. Like, I used to want to study everything. I'm like, okay, I'm going to study everything, and I'm going to let everyone else do it. And I was in the backseat my whole life.
You are not anymore.
Right. But it's hard. And sometimes I feel like I want to just be a sheep. I want to just follow. It can be hard sometimes, right? So I encourage you guys to tiptoe into that, or be in that in any way you can. And I'm so excited to hear about the fact that you know that we're already, and I want to hear about the timelines, because it's so interesting.
But I want to come back to what you said, because it's so important. There are many of us here. There are many of us here doing teachings. There are many beautiful humans, very evolved, doing teachings. But it is up to you. You find a teacher who you resonate with, you find friends who you resonate with, who can do this work with you. But it is really you with the steering wheel. And that is so beautiful that you have a steering wheel, that you now have chosen to be in the driver's seat, to say, every day I make choices. Every single day I make choices, whether to be in the light. And this is hard to do in the world you live in. We all know this. Those of us that are here to help see how difficult it is to be on earth and not drowned in the debris that's around. But you have free will, which makes you able to take that steering wheel, Zenka, and drive the car into the light and change your whole trajectory for yourself. You know you have many parallel lives as this incarnation. And as you move up the ladder of the parallel life, which you, by the way, have moved many parallel lives up, the lowest parallel life simply dissolves. This is important for people to understand. The lowest parallel life that you have been living simply dissolves. This has to do with timelines. Now, also you have a soul matrix with all kinds of incarnations. Many of you know each other from the past and future and all of this because you have many lifetimes in one. As you begin to ascend, the lowest, densest lifetime, even in your soul matrix, begins to dissolve. That's how you move into the sixth dimension, that you have in your soul matrix a consciousness of all of the high life. And the lowest life simply dissolve. This is how it works with parallel life movement. This is how it works in incarnations. This is how it works in the galaxy. As enough planets go through ascension, the lowest, densest planets simply dissolve into the high. And this is how it works in the universe. It is light technology. Now, when you go into timeline jumping, it is like you have a cup of water and you can decide what to put in that cup. If you put the liquid of light in that cup, making choices every day to love, to be in unity, to try to have peace, to have joy, bringing that to your life, to try to be in service, you pour into the cup this beautiful liquid. If you make it up to 8 ounces, let's just say that's a timeline jump. But the problem with how difficult it is to be human, you can pour the lightness into the cup, but then sometimes you have a bad day, you pour some mucky stuff into the cup. Now you start over again with the lightness. So it is about making that choice with the steering wheel every day to say, I have this power. I thought it was taken away from me, but I have this amazing power, and you are the ones that will change the earth. Everything is set in place. It is perfect for it to happen. But as you begin to pour more lightness of being into your life, you fill up the cup, and when you get to 8 ounces, you have a timeline jump into the next parallel life. And even during this transmission right now, I'm telling you, anyone listening, if you listen with an open heart, if you try to let your soul modalities open their receptor sites for whatever you are hearing, to say, okay, let me just take it in. Let me be willing to take in the fact that perhaps I am magnificent, meaning you. And if you can do that just during this transmission, guess what? You will have felt you have filled the cup to 8 ounces, and you will have a timeline jump. Now, to keep that timeline jump intact, to keep the lighter frequency quotient intact, you have to keep making decisions every day to keep that timeline intact. Some people are great weavers. They move into a new timeline, they weave back down to the old stuff. Then they weave back up and they weave back down. Most people have a chance to weave a lot of little scarves with this process. But I am telling you, as you begin to stay conscious, this awareness thing, Zenka, is so important to stay aware. You have your driving wheel, and that tells you, that brings your awareness, whether you even know consciously you're seeing it or not, brings your awareness. You are the driver. You are the one that has sovereignty to make these decisions, to fill the cup with the lightness of being. You don't, and people often say to me, well, how do you do that? And I say, well, first of all, I want to tell you, especially in Sedona, but all over the world, the earth is already making her transition. She's a little bit ahead of you. It may not look like that, but she is. Go out in nature. I know many people say walk in nature, but you have no idea how nature is trying to hold you. And all, like if you make a fresh timeline jump, like today, if you can listen with an open heart and know the truth about who you are, and tomorrow get up in the morning and walk in nature, you know what nature will do with you? Nature will wrap you in a certain energetic field to solidify the timeline jump, to solidify this new place you are at with this new light frequency quotient. That's where nature is at now, very conscious of all the humans walking in her. And so she will try with the birds that sing, with the trees that sway in the wind. All of these frequencies will, if you're open, come into you to solidify all of this that is happening. What a grand thing here on earth.
So cool. So can you explain, I want to ask you about your recommendations on how we can connect with star beings, but I first want to clarify this whole discussion about parallel, and I do see it like that too. I see it in levels up, and then you have your scenarios that happen at each level with everyone in your life. So there's multiple versions of you,
Yes.
and then how do you connect with your higher self?
Oh, but this is what you are doing, Zenka. When you are teaching people how to do these kind of magical things, which I call soul sensory modalities, the things you are teaching, even the bending of spoons, all of that is moving into your higher self. Because I will tell you, I am sure 20 years ago, you could not bend a spoon, you could not levitate, you could not do all the things you are doing now, you cannot talk to all these people all over the world and move them like you move them with your beautiful light energy. You have moved into a higher parallel life. And I'll tell you something, that lowest parallel life that you long ago have moved out of, if you ran into somebody that knew you then, you might not even recognize who they are, or you might not even recognize the space where you used to live. This is what happens. It simply disappears. And so as you move up, you are moving up to a higher. You say, how do you do that? I'd say, you are doing that. You are doing that. And here's what sometimes I do with people in retreats is we take a look at what your highest life is up to. We go there. Your highest life is going on. You're just not, your consciousness is just not living in that higher life. But as your consciousness expands and brings in more light and the frequency moves up, you can begin to have your consciousness move into that higher parallel life. Take a look at that, who you are, what you are up to, what your mission is. Get clues from that as to what you need to do now. Sometimes I have seen people move into the next higher parallel life, and even in just the seeing it, make the transition right then and there. Wow. So amazing. And so we take a peek at that, just like we take a peek at your, what I call the ACEs, which is your advanced cosmic entities that you live in incarnations. That many people look at incarnation, go, I want to know my past, I want to know why this trauma happened in another life, why it haunts me. And I say, be careful the realities you want to live in. How about we take a look at your most advanced incarnation? And let me tell you, Zenka, I could tell you all about yours. but your advanced in, oh my goodness, it's come to me so much about, but this is your most advanced incarnation. Now here's a special time on earth that humans can begin to realize all of this is the truth, all of this is a reality. There are so many going around you. You have an advanced entity who is from the cosmos, who is living right now, because really the truth is, in terms of incarnation, there is no time and space. It's all happening now, but humans have time and space, so okay, we call it past. But you have this beautiful advanced being that you are now. And the reason to get in touch with her is because she is doing things that are so advanced. And when you begin to get, if we were to be together for a little bit, I would take you to her, and you would know who she is, and you would feel that prickle on your arm. You would feel the frequencies because you know now how to feel frequencies. This is all vibration. Humans are all frequencies. But anyway, she would come in, and as you began to get in touch with her, she would send you essences from that life which are so pertinent for this life of yours, Zinka. And she is a very beautiful high being, doing on a more cosmic level. It's funny, similar things that you are, but much more cosmic. She would be sending you new skills, new essences for you to turn on within you that you came into this life knowing, but because of forgetting, you forgot. That is what humans can do now. Instead of working out all the traumas from other past lives to get in touch with their highest parallel life, instead of going back over their lives. I said to Marilyn, you spent too much time being psychologist going over all the gunk. It is time now to help people move into the new phase, which is that you have this beautiful advanced being, and she has been waiting to say to you, Zenka, I am here for you, and I am sending you essences that are going to so spark more and more of this that you do. And you're not going to believe. And in the very doing of that, in the very connecting to her, you jump a timeline, because that's a full cup at least.
I can't wait to meet her. That's really cool. So that's so cool. When you were talking about, look to a teacher or a guru or something like that, I just wanted to point out that at LightNet, we don't even have teachers. We call them guides, but the idea is that you guys are going to teach yourself and teach each other. And that's also like why we just share in these teams that we're starting up our teams in June. You can find on the website, but it's like, because each person's way of remembering is different. And it's not like, I remember when I went from knowledge going like, I got to read it in a book to like, I just got to get connected enough to get it to be downloaded, because that's where all the scientists and physicists, they're doing it in their dreams, they're doing it in the channel.
Very good.
Right?
Very good.
So anyway, so let's talk about what your advice is for us on how to connect with star families, like in a contact experience. Like what advice would you have for everyone?
So first, you say such wise things. I have to first come back to what you said about teachers. You can be on the hilltop seeing a sunset, and the sunset for that perfect time becomes a catalyst for something that blooms inside of you. That is what I call teaching. I am here to be a sunset, to reflect to you. Other teachers only should be reflecting, be catalysts. I like to call it the catalyst of change. But really, what all you are to each other is to stimulate and spark that which has been in you forever. And you are here to spark that in each other and become these most magnificent beings. Now, you ask the question, how to connect with the star family? Well, first of all, you have to decide if you believe there is such a thing as star family. You are made up of the stars. You came from the stars. It is so curious to us. You have so much proof on Earth that the ETs have been here. What do you think some of these big pyramids, who do you think helped build them? You have so much proof on the... It is not proof any longer. It is a raising of the consciousness so that you begin to understand the truth that Earth can't be just spinning by herself in the midst of darkness, that there is much out there. So the first question you have to ask is, do you believe that you might be sitting in the middle of a vast universe of many, many diverse beings? Now, on your planet, you're not very good with diversity. You separate people out by the color of their skin. People often ask me, well, why don't they just come down and come to my front door? And I say to them, listen, you don't like neighbors who are different colors than you? You're going to have a praying mantis being come to your door all in green with an exoskeleton? I don't think so. You're not ready for that yet. So you have to be doing your own consciousness work. Because I tell you, some nights we are in the field, I am with the humans in the field on the sanctuary, and miraculous things happen. And it's so funny how quickly people kind of forget about it and say, what's the treats tonight when we take a break? And I say, do you realize a craft just went over? Beautiful craft shining the light. But humans, the tides of reality, of the current reality, are very strong, and they can take you back. So the first thing, Zinka, is really understanding that there is a star family, and beginning even in your meditation to ask your star family to come to you, as they did to Marilyn over the telephone. And they can be there when you have that desire to begin to be one of the ones to heal the separation trauma of Earth being by herself. And any of you who look up to the sky to say, I am ready to see a craft, I am ready to visit an ET. There are ETs walking around your planet. They just look human, so you don't recognize them. But they are here, and that is your imagination to say, what would I imagine if I saw a craft? You would not believe what would happen when you use imagination, because imagination is just the corridor by which you are taking to these other realities. And so there are many times when we have retreats where people at night go on crafts, but in the morning some have memories, some don't, and this is how it works. But it is coming together in a group is such a great way to do this, where you agree and can have a cohesive set of consciousness about saying, we invite you in, we are here to be love to you, and we want to experience your love, and we understand it is a grand universe, and Earth is ready because you know why? We are ready, and we are going to be the tipping point. There are many people on Earth who have had experiences with ETs that have been absolutely beautiful. That's the reality to create. Many people are afraid to make contact because of all the negativity about the ETs. And I say, you want to live in that timeline? You want to live in that reality? Okay. But remember, whatever reality you live in is the reality that becomes more and more the reality of your neighbors and your countries and your whole Earth. So I say, live in the reality where you someday will greet your star family with the most love you have ever felt in your life, where you will see the diversity, where you will see the blue ones. Zenka is a blue one, and it is so beautiful because I too am a blue one. And so you are so beautiful, and you will see your blue family, and you will recognize them, and you will know it. And so in your meditations, you can begin to bring them in and say, I think I'm making this up. The worst thing I see when people gather to do contact is they think they are making it up. So one night there was a portal in the sky, it opens up, and 50 craft come through. 50 craft come through. And people are like, did we make that up? And I say, I'm sorry, you're not that evolved to make that up. It just is not going to happen like that. But the tides of reality of Earth density is strong. And so you have to begin to say, well, let me live as if the ETs are here, I just can't see them. And you begin in your house to hear sounds, to hear song, to hear sound. They often come and are sounding to you in high tones, low beats. They come and they begin to give you messages that they are here very softly so they don't frighten you. Sometimes if crafts come close and one person in the group is frightened, they will leave, disappear, because they are not here to frighten the human race. They are here to love you. Mm-hmm. And so gathering in a group with love and harmony, but I tell you, the most difficult thing is really not the ETs coming. It is humans gathering in a group and trying to be in unity themselves and trying to have their personality issues put aside for one evening so they can come and feel love for each other. That love for each other creates a field, Zenka. It creates a landing field, the very vibration of humans coming together with love and unity, creating a unified field. We have created at retreat such big unified fields. They have turned into discs of light, and they are still going around planet Earth, changing the morphogenic consciousness field. I am telling you. But to have humans be in a group, to learn how to be together with the softness of heart, and to be curious about the truth, and in that creating a shining light that goes up to the heavens and brings so many ETs in and on the ground and walking among you. And this is so beautiful. So I hope I've answered some of the questions.
Yeah, you have. That's so great, you guys. So yeah, decide if you believe, and then invite, and then listen, let it happen, relax, right?
And then let yourself imagine. What would you imagine, Zenka? What would you imagine if tonight a craft came to you?
Yeah.
What would you, and then go with that. That imagination pulls that reality towards you.
Wow, that's so great, you guys. So we're going to open it up for questions. I have one final question. What you're going to want to do if you're listening on New Realities or Portal to Ascension or our LightNet YouTube is you're going to go to lightnet.org/unlimited, and that's where you're going to get in the Zoom room to ask a question. If you're in the Zoom room now, we're going to ask that you use the reactions thing and put your hand up, and that'll let Adam know that he can call on you. It's by the order of who raises their hand first. And I just want to remind you guys that you can find ZaZar and Marilyn at theshifts.rocks, and she's doing an in-person conference here in Sedona on the 20th. So you want to find out about that, and also tomorrow night at ULM. So I also want to send a heartfelt love message to Lynn McTaggart, who really honed down the proof, the science about the 8. A minimum is 8. So when we get 8 people together, like you said, all the personalities in agreement with a single intention. That's what Michael is doing with his intention love experiment, which has had wild results. So you get a coherent uni-field, as ZaZar calls it, right? Then really there's so much that opens up for you in that, and really there is no limit to it. And so it's cool because in some reality, you guys, we're gonna have a party tomorrow night at the ULM where the ETs are gonna be there, right? There's in some reality we've had this cosmic thing, and we can travel everywhere, you guys. We can go in spaceships and go visit other planets. How fun is that? This is going to be such a renaissance. So for my final questions, ZaZar, you talk about this, helping people with their advanced version, helping that pull them to that reality and that vision and that life. So what is the advanced vision for Earth right now, for us in the next couple of years or whatever? I mean, you don't have to go to the end, but what do you see? What are the good things you see in the Renaissance?
Okay, this is such a, you know why this is so brilliant question, of course, from you, but it is because not just about individuals, but what is to happen to your Earth. And on Earth, there will be this incredible peace. There will be this incredible unity where there is no harm. There will be new paradigms of healing coming in. Healing of knowing how to utilize frequencies through consciousness to simply heal. Many people on Earth now are making new devices that are all about frequencies. And that is a prelude to this new paradigm coming from the miracle mantle of the 5th dimension that is coming in. You will be able to simply know how to utilize your consciousness to not only heal yourself, but to heal all others. The light consciousness, how you will learn how to use your consciousness to build craft. Many of the craft of ETs are built by the consciousness. They are alive. You will know how to do this. It is so exciting. You will live side by side. You will be generating creative potentialities and turning them into new realities every single day. You will have the mission of unifying Earth back to her right home in the cosmos. And in doing that, all of the separation that you have experienced over time, all on Earth, will simply dissolve. And on Earth, you will see things growing and planting and booming. You will see new kinds of life coming to Earth. You will see a marriage of the ETs with the humans that will come together, marriage in terms of building new structures made out of crystals. You will learn crystal technology. You are on your way to learning that, but this will be something that will be so fantastical. You will learn how to live with the land, not against the land. Earth will make herself known because she is a celestial being who volunteered to be Earth. You will get to know the celestial being, and she will be inside of you and you in her. All the while, you will not lose your sovereignty as a creative soul being.
Wow, you guys, that's so cool. So much to look forward to. Yeah, I was just gonna say, Dr. Ivy knows how to do that frequency, and Lisa with her voice and her, you know what I mean? We're getting the machines too. So I want to remind everyone that Lisa's gonna be doing her piece again at the end. We'll also be publishing it separately on our YouTube. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to whatever channel you're watching to right now, go ahead and do that right now. And yeah, so Adam's going to turn it over to the first person with a question. Is it Dr. Ivy? I hear her voice. I don't know.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
It's Susan.
Great, Susan. What's your question for ZaZar?
Oh, hi. First, I just want to say thank you so much, Zara. ZaZar.
ZaZar. Yep.
ZaZar. Your aura is radiating like a fire. It's so light. It's so amazing. Just to we can feel it. I can feel it. I can see it. It's just radiating. I would like to know how we move in this world. I understand and I hear what you're saying about moving into the higher vibrations. So, but how do we help others to shift to that who cannot see, who are in our lives? I know we will leave them behind, but it's hard to just leave them behind. You know what I mean? So how can we help them to see the light? How can I be a light for them?
So let me tell you, Susan, you see my aura, but you can't see my aura in the way you do without your aura being in similar resonance. So I have to say that tells me a lot about you. Your question is so beautiful because it is that part of the human that does not want to leave anyone out. Now, let me tell you this. One of the hardest things to help humans realize is when they are in their own high vibration of light. And I often say to Marilyn, if you could learn to sit on your cushion and just be this radiant light 24/7, you have no idea how you would affect your neighbors and your community, because you can't see into the invisible. You don't realize and can't see what I see. That, Susan, I see your light already emanating to those you are worried you are leave behind. And what you're going to have is faith in this invisible realm, that this new light that is coming online in the human heart is so powerful that while you can't see it and you might not see its effect yet on the others, your light, just maintaining the sovereignty of your own light, let me tell you, affects them and it surrounds them. And when they are ready, they will have fuel from you that is perhaps to you invisible, but they will have that fuel. It already, I can see your beautiful want is already surrounding them. You don't have to do no more. Humans are very much in the doing mode. That is in the behavioral, concrete, material world. I understand this. And so now it is time to realize the frequency light beings that you are. And when you begin to develop more and more of that, and I know you do, just doing that affects, I am telling you, many, many people. Just doing that, you have to have the belief and faith. And this is one of the hardest things I know at the beginning with Marilyn, to say to her, just doing this. And then she began to see the light. She began to develop those soul sensory modalities to see what love did when those entered the room. She could see it, healing, when they couldn't even feel it. But now, Susan, just know that being in and of yourself and wishing for this light of you and this love of you to surround them, but no, just being that light being. It goes out into those realities and it surrounds those people. People often say to me, well, are there going to be many left behind? And I say, it doesn't work like that. It's not that. You remember I said that the lowest level, the lowest densities disappear because they are absorbed into the light. So there are many, many people who will be absorbed into the light. They will not be left behind. It will happen different. It will happen instantaneous for you and for many others. You are consciously doing this work and it is hard. And you are doing the work and you are spreading the light. But you see, when it surrounds them, when they are ready, when their free will begins to look up and sees this whole change, when the morphogenic field of consciousness is at a certain level, where people can't help but be drawn to the light, they will be surrounded by your light, Susan. And in that instant, they will make those timeline jumps.
Wow. And will we be lifted up in a spaceship at some point?
If you want to be.
I do.
Then you shall be. I say this to you, Susan. Come with me tonight in my spaceship. I'd like to see you there.
I would love to.
So I want you to do this, Susan, before you go to bed. You say, ZaZar, you told me that I could come with you on your ship, and I'm going to say something to you. You may not remember yet, because to remember these experiences, remember, they're not going to fit into the human brain, into the human data points, into the memory channels in you're developing a fifth dimensional mind field, and that has circuitry. And then when you develop more and more of that, there will be a morning that you will wake up, Susan, and you will remember being on the ship. So when you go to bed at night, you say, I am going to dream of the ship. I am going to dream of being with extraterrestrials in this beautiful setting. And you just keep saying that every night. And you wake up in the morning. How do you feel? What happened? You might remember 3D dreams, but it's with you. I am telling you, if you can imagine it, if you want it, if you desire it in that higher vibrational state, which I definitely feel from you, we are going to be riding on a ship together, Susan.
I'll be there tonight.
Do you hear that in her voice?
Yeah, Susan's amazing. She does the healing. She teaches children. She bends spoons like the kids do. She's one of the few adults that bends spoons.
Why am I not surprised, Susan? I am not surprised whatsoever. I hope I can meet you.
I hope I can meet you as well. Thank you.
Okay, so who's next, Adam?
Go ahead and introduce yourself. You need to unmute yourself, buddy.
Yeah, so Adam should tell you who's next, and you'll unmute yourself. But okay, great. And
Now we can't hear you, so it's Michael.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, we're still not hearing you.
Okay, just go to the next person.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Make sure you have your camera on too if you're going to do a question.
Yeah.
Hi there, my name is Joy, and my question is, how shall we approach climate change?
What a beautiful question. So, Joy, one thing I know about you right away is you care about the planet, yes?
Yes.
I love it. Now that yes, you care about the planet, yes?
Yes.
Okay, that's how you deal with climate change. Now you think I'm fooling, but I am telling you that desire to help Mother Earth that desire turns into a healing frequency. You cannot see it, but and you say, well, if that is how easy it is, we all desire that. But it's not true. There isn't a tipping point yet of all humans who desire to help the earth. So it is you saying to people, we must help Mother Earth. It is you taking a walk in nature with Mother Earth. And what is your name again? Joy, of course. Joy. You walk through Mother Earth and you say, I am dispensing joy to you. I am dispensing joy so that you know there are humans here that are helping you with the climate that is going on. You gather people together. 8 is the magic number, and you begin to use prayer and meditation to send out this new light frequency. And I am telling you, there are many on the planet who are doing this, and I can see that planet Earth is absorbing the joy and the want and the love that there are many humans who want to correct. And joining with the ETs, you know there are many extraterrestrials that when you have that meeting with them, they will be here in a heartbeat and they will solve all the climate changes. But it cannot be by them first. It has to be the free will of the human species that are on the planet to come and free the planet of the shackles that humans have caused the planet to be under. And Joy, you are one of them who is going in the opposite direction. There is a tide of climate change, yes, but here, by your very question, I wish I could show humans by their very caring, by their very question, and it feels powerless when you want to change this climate change. And it can feel like, what do I do? Not realizing that sitting and being sovereign and saying, I will shed the light upon the planet. If you had 888,000 people on the planet sitting, asking that question, wanting to join in the light, you would not believe what would happen to planet Earth.
Oh, so cool.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you,
I feel the
Joy.
love.
Okay, Dr. Ivy, you're up.
Dr. Ivy's doing the 40-day juice fast with Adam and I, so we text every day. We're doing it.
Hello. Oh, I tell you, what a joy. And I'm just so grateful, that I have been invited into this circle. And I'll say this, that I've been trying to levitate people ever since I was 7 years old. And when you said levitate, I said, oh, Zinka saw me.
This is her
I have
creation.
this thing where I'm working with the crystals for frequencies and vibration, but it's starting to come to me this image of pointed crystals coming from the highest points in the universe and using that level of consciousness to shift to the higher consciousness to bring that light onto the earth. And I call it cosmetic love. Well, I don't know if it's such a thing.
Oh, I tell you, honey, cosmetic love, it's pouring out of every pore of you. You are you want to know if it exists? Yes, it exists, because everyone feel her. Feel Dr. Ivy, because she is listen to that. Points of crystals. Yes, you are right. And by the way, those pointed crystals, use them when you are trying to levitate, because those pointed crystals, some of them have special, beautiful lightness of being that will cushion you, enable for your body to feel that lightness from those pointed crystals to levitate. You actually are a great levitator. You are a great levitator, both in actually allowing your physical body to levitate. And in doing that, do you realize, Dr. Ivy, that you put that potential into every human being on the planet? One human being who is in their template of being able to levitate or bilocate or heal or produce sound that heals. One human that does that, it means the human template is ready for everyone to do it. And so you are bringing in this cosmetic love. You are bringing it in from these pointed crystals. I can see them. They are most extraordinary, most beautiful. And you know, Dr. Ivy, by doing this, you have brought those crystals closer to Earth. Every question tonight is connected to every other question. Nothing is what it seems, but everything is a clue. Those crystals are going to interact with climate change. They're going to interact with people being able to open their, what I call soul sensory modalities, of which levitation is one.
Yeah, it would make sense, you guys, that crystals could be a telephone, so to speak, between them and us, because it's a holding device of information, and we have it here physically. We know they can do apports. And I just want to say a few things about the Levitation Lab for those of you who haven't heard about it. So we met Coffee in LA, and she was at the spoon bending, and she was like, I'm coffee that levitates. And that's been my dream since I was 7. Oftentimes when we're 7 is where we, the veil goes down, right? And so her dream, so we're finding those 100 people, like we do in all of our curiosity labs, those 100 people who've done it. And it's our understanding that there's about 5 or 6 can levitate on demand in the earth right now, on demand, boom. And that there's more than 100,000, if not 1 million, who have levitated once before. So
now
we're on this treasure hunt.
And I tell you something, Zenka, why it's so important what you are doing with these, what do you call them?
Curiosity labs.
Curiosity labs, how beautiful. Because just like with Dr. Ivy, I'm telling you, once you begin to, levitation produces a really particular signature of frequency. Once a human is able to do that and put them in a group of 8 and then 100, once they are able to do that, now they are increasing that consciousness morphogenic field of that particular signature gift or magic, which is levitation. And so the more that do it, the more field you form, and the more field you form, the more others can join.
Right, and that's the idea of the 100th monkey, and that's why we boot up labs once we have 100 people who tell the story, bank their resources, and then groups of 8 go to try it. So this is a warm invitation and a warm welcome to Coffee, who's just started two or how many days ago? I don't know, 4 days ago. As a core team member of LightNet, and I welcome her because she's pouring her heart and her genius into everything. She's going to be booting up the social media. She's going to be booting up her levitation playlist on the YouTube. So stay tuned. Her energy is really incredible, and we're so lucky to have her part of the team. So yeah, Ivy, thanks for your question. Thanks. Did everything get answered there? Are we going to the next one here? I don't know how much time do we have, because we want to save 10 minutes or 5 minutes for Lisa, for sure.
We have 14 minutes left. And,
okay, great.
And Michael's been here. So
I'm Michael. I'm one of the LightNet scholars, actually, and the Dream Machine Project funded an experiment of mine, which the results will be coming in soon. However, I wanted to say thank you. You pieced together so many different things between the crystalline structures and the crystalline technology. It's interesting that you said that. It really got my mind rolling on a couple of different things for sure. So say you have a group of 9 people, right? And you have them formed together instead of in a circle. You have them making a crystalline geometry star patterning, right? And you give them the same intention around that circle again and again and again, 9 times. And the intention being love. Something, just as a little bit of a spoiler, but something I've noticed personally, so performing this experiment with that geometry 3 times, personally, like performing and being a part of, my grasp and my grip on people who are having a hard time with the word love, they're making comments about how, like, they don't want to take on other people's baggage and this, that, and the other. Just making that grip, it sparks something, and I've heard a change of tune from not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different people so far. Just from having that connection, from being a part of that experiment so many times, I look forward to doing that in a greater number. We've done that in 3 groups of 9 so far, and with the crystalline technology of it, that's absolutely amazing. And I thank you for that.
So I want to say this to you, Michael, because we can see what you are doing. You are so right. You are taking these sacred designs and you are infiltrating them in the one case with love from and around the circle over and over. You are actually creating a real grid of the frequency signature of love created by those in the group, and what it looks like. If you could see this, you would be astounded. It looks like you are making a disc of white light webbing with a particular signature on it, and then you tell your group to send that disc of white lighted networking grid of sacred design, to send it to around the earth. And I am telling you, in doing that, so many others will begin to be able to, unbeknownst to what you're doing, join in that matrix you are creating. And if people want to know, is the earth changing? Michael and Zenka are examples in Dr. I of examples of, yes, the earth, look at what they are doing, and they can't even see what we can see in the invisible realm. And yet they are doing it, and they are believing it, and it is really a reality. So Michael, congratulations, you are creating new realities.
That's so exciting. You know, Drunvalo Melchizedek, when he would do his Merkaba to do his like astral traveling and everything, was seen by satellites in space. So if our technology can see it, then our brothers and sisters who are right here with us and right there in the next dimensions waiting for us to go up can definitely see it. That is so cool.
Oh, yes.
And Michael's experiment has been so powerful. It caused massive love situations, babies, the whole, it's wild. We can't wait to publish the results, so stay tuned.
Where is he producing babies at? What area?
Well, so one of the things, so it was these nine people, and like he said, we interlocked like a Rodan cable was his idea. And people in the group, well, Michael's pregnant, for example. His girlfriend, Katrina, is pregnant. So that was the birth was within the scientist. But all sorts of other crazy stuff also happened.
So I am telling you, this is, you are already doing it. Does everybody here today, you are already creating these new realities. And sometimes it feels like you are blind, and yet you still are creating these realities. You are bringing out the truth of the magic of the human soul and what it is here. So many of you have brought in these gifts to be able to know how to do this, to work with consciousness, how to spread love, how to make sacred design, how to bring sound into the world in such a way that sound itself will heal. All of this is happening on this planet. So when some of you look around and see all the debris and all the densities, I want you to know, and I want you to remember today, that what we see is the human species in the midst of creating this new reality of the fifth dimension and ascending. You do not have to die in this incarnation to be unified. You do not have to die. You can be in this incarnation and experience the miraculous healing of unity, joy, love, and peace. And this is what you are in, and this is Zenka, dearest Zenka, what Zenka is doing, and Michael and Dr. Ivy and Susan and all of these people. And so, when you feel down in the dumps, feel this today. Let your heart soar with hope. And let that hope turn on your own magnificence, which can take a breath to blow out the debris and bring in the new paradigms. You are ready.
And you guys, it gets so much easier because all of a sudden the energy of everyone's helping the energy of everyone else, and it's a smorgasbord. Like it's like we're doing black and white TV right now. Like
That's
it is
right.
going to be color TV. Like we're going to go, wow. Like the amount of things we can do and create is just going to be suddenly apparent. And like you said, healing technologies and like all this fun stuff, like these fun relationships and travel and art and music. I mean, it's just going to be like, wow. And it's going to be so joyful. It's going to be so fun.
So I say to you, I think if your beautiful energy could be put in a cup, you might want to make 1,000 cups and put them out there to see the world change in 24 hours. That's what I say to you. And to all of you listening, and to all of you who has hope in their hearts that the human is quite extraordinary.
That's so great. So I want to check with ZaZar to see if there's no more questions.
Michael had one more. Do you want to?
Okay, we'll do one question, and then I'm going to bring ZaZar back, Marilyn back, before we have Lisa close us out. So yeah, Michael, go ahead.
I actually just wanted to quickly say, Kadosh Adonai Sabaoth, for sure.
And I say to you, Mi'elah, Mi'elah, which means in light language, so much love to you, I love you, Mi'elah.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So thank you everybody who joined us tonight. It's been great to spend this time with everyone tonight. Again, let's bring back Marilyn, right? And I want to tell you that if you go to theshifts.rocks, you can find Marilyn and ZaZar's work. You can find their book. You can go to their YouTube channel. You can find out about their retreats and everything like that.
So I have to say, theshift.rocks.
Okay, The Shift.
So come aboard the shift and come aboard the ship.
Yes.
With us. So it's been so wonderful. I have to see you through Marilyn's eyes to be with you.
Okay.
And you know that you are such a leader in this new time of reality. So we say, so it is, so be it, and so it shall be. And I want to thank everyone. And I want to say again, Mi'elah.
Mi'elah. Wow, it's like when he left, I got a power boost. I was like, whoa, okay. He's like, level up tonight, or whatever he's saying, but okay. That was extraordinary. What wisdom. Like everything he said, I was like, he's right. Wow. And these are ways that I haven't heard it before. And it was like very, very cool. Very, very high wisdom. I loved.
Well, you know what's so great about ZaZar is he brings a cosmic perspective that we just need on Earth. And in that cosmic perspective, what it's done to me is light up my own cosmic self. And when that happens, we enter the unifield. And so it was really great tonight to be in that field with you.
Oh, wow. Wow. What a treat for me this was. Wow.
Awesome.
Wow, wow.
And by the way, ZaZar does amazing individual sessions. If you would like to come and have an individual, he does it through Zoom. He does it in person. If some of you are listening from Sedona, we're here until the end of May. Have an individual session. It will change your life. And otherwise, we can do it on Zoom. But it would be great to meet him and spend time with him just one-on-one.
Yeah, what a treat, you guys, to anchor that version of yourself. You know, this woman did a hypnosis for me, and she's like, write out your fantasy life, and I did. And then she had the hypnosis, and then she had my fantasy self at the top of the stairs, and in the hypnosis I walk up to it, and she tells me what I need to know to get closer to her. Exactly. And she's like, but I am you, right? And so it's like, Yeah.
I
it's
would
like-
say that you have done a really good job at being in the top of those stairs,
Oh,
Zinka.
thank you so much. You know, we're all doing this together,
Yes.
and I get lit up by, I fall in love with the people that I meet, and just like, I'm like, wow, you know, I'm just blown away by all of us, you know, and it's and that's why we all. It's like this quote keeps coming to me, like, as the water rises, all ships rise. That's not the quote, but something like that. Like, the rising tide lifts all boats, right? So it's like, that's what it is. Like, when, like, we're all bringing out the best in each other and the best in ourselves, and then it's like lighter work. It's easier.
But
it's more fun.
you do realize, Zinka, that you are one of the most incredible light workers. As you do this, you bring together that. And so many other people are in the dredges of bringing together, divisiveness and division and all that. But you are one of the people on the planet that's so important now to speak to so many out there about all these beautiful things happening.
Yeah.
And we need that so bad.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to thank tonight Adam for helping out with the camera and the Zoom tonight. He's going to be leading the Wild class, the Waking Lucid Dreaming class here in Sedona in season 4. So you can go to lightnet.org to find out about that. You were talking about bilocating, which is one of the things he's going to be going over. I also want to thank Jen and Diana for being such a supportive team for Marilyn, and Coffee, of course. Welcome to the team. It's really great to have you starting this week. And Lisa, come back on. We're excited to have you close us out with everything. And let me just check the Zoom settings again, because I know I had it on while you were playing there at the end, so I'm just hoping. And everyone can scream at us to make sure it's working. I've got on, so, live performance audio.
It's all
Okay,
yours.
let's see what happens. Yep.
As we continue to move forward in the frequencies of love, I close this sacred transmission.
For some reason, it seems like there's sounds sometimes that just don't need or want to be recorded. It's kind of divine.
Is it-
Yeah, because you
Like
can
a
play
ping?
without the gong. It's the gong that
Yeah.
it thinks it's noise.
Okay.
That's the thing
Okay.
it doesn't like. Maybe just with the other pieces in your voice. Yeah, just sing.
Let's try the chimes. Do you think the chimes will be an addition?
Yeah, I think they'll work. They're working. Yeah. So it's just the gong.
We are love. We
We are here to be love, and we are here to be loved. May we continue to love each other as one. We are one. We are whole. We are love.